Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to Off the Shelf. I am your host, Runtime HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was...
Sure it's a dog.
I think it might be a koala. An evil koala.
Indestructible.
I want a status report.
Things are going well.
Indigestible.
Hey! Ew!
Fascinating, isn't it?
And completely irresistible.
We have to take him back.
What about Ohana? Ohana means family. Family means
Nobody gets left behind.
Walt Disney Pictures presents Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch, not the other one, just the first one. This film was released in 2002 by Walt Disney Animation. It is written and directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois. DeBlois? Very sorry. Starring Daveigh Chase, who we very unfortunately lost recently. She was so young. It's very incredibly tragic. We are making this video as a tribute to her. May she rest in peace. But this film is starring as well alongside her. The titular Stitch is also voiced by writer-director Chris Sanders. And as well as supporting actors are voiced by Tia Carrera, Ving Rhames, and David Ogden Steyer. And this film, I'd say, is a modern Disney classic. I guess, just generally, very beloved modern Disney film. Probably one of the most beloved Disney films, I'd say, of the modern era. You know, I mean, Stitch is everywhere, right? You go to any store, there's going to be something Stitch related, right? People love Lilo and Stitch, and I think for damn good reason. I think it is a very, very, very enjoyable film. I think it is really, really fun. I think it's just really, like, a really chill movie that you can just sit down and have a good time with, right? I think one thing I like about it is that it's not really super high stakes. You know, it's not, like, super action-packed. It's not really... like, super, I mean, it's dramatic, but in a different way. It's not like, you know, super, like, so many things going on dramatic. It's like, you know, character-driven drama, you know what I mean? With our main characters and their group trying to work together as, like, a dysfunctional family, right? And, I think it does it very well. I think, it's very easy to get invested in Stitch's redemption arc, as he was originally just a science experiment created for complete and total destruction, right? And he's like, you know, a city destroyer, right? But he lands on Hawaii, where there are no big cities, right? So he kind of has to realize he has to figure out a new purpose, right? And that purpose is Ohana, family, right? And obviously, I think most people have seen this movie, or maybe not most people ever, but I think a lot of people have seen this movie, and I don't really think I've ever seen anybody that, like, hates on this movie. I think most people really like this movie, or at least find it fun or enjoyable, and I think, like, my main thing about it is it's just super charming, right? I really love the dynamic with Lilo and Stitch. I love, like, evil monster Stitch at the beginning of the movie, where he's just, like, super destructive and, like, super just, like, chaotic. I really love before he turns into, like, normal cute Stitch that everybody knows. I also really enjoy I like Jumba and Pleakley. I think they are very, like, entertaining, like, foils to Stitch in a way. They're kind of like cartoon bad guys. They're not really bad guys, but they're, like, kind of that style where they're constantly trying to capture Stitch and they're always failing because they're too incompetent to actually do it properly, right? And they just make more of a mess and they, like, wreck everything, you know? I also think I love how they're both stupid in their own ways, you know? Well, not, like, stupid, but they're kind of, lovable idiots, I guess, is a good way to put it. Especially Pleakley. I really like how he's just like super, I guess, is a nervy the right word? He's kind of like on edge all the time. You know, he's like super just like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, stop doing this, stop doing that, right? And I guess Jumba is a good, I guess, contrast to that, where he's super just doing this shit right now, right then and there, doesn't care what happens, doesn't care about who gets caught in the crossfire, really, just kind of does whatever he wants to do, right? To get the job done. And they have good back and forth with that. I really like the subversion of Ving Rhames' character as the social worker. He seems like he'd be kind of like mysterious and a little intimidating, right? Because he's like this big towering dude with like in a all black suit with like these glasses. He kind of looks like a man in black, right? You know, kind of like an agent of some sort. But he's actually like a really caring guy that just wants what's best for Lilo. And I do appreciate that little subversion there. I do also kind of like how they confirm at the end that he was a former government agent who saved the world by convincing aliens that mosquitoes were an endangered species, which they actually set up earlier in the movie, which is how Pleakley gets introduced, and I like that little setup for that joke. I thought that was very fun, and I think the whole movie's just like that. Like, there's a bunch of just, you know, back and forth with the characters that I think just get a laugh out of you. You know, they're just very well written and very likable. I guess everybody in the movie is likable. Even the main villain of it, I think it was Gantu, I believe was his name. He, even though he's the bad guy, I still think that he's likable in a sense. He's like likable when a villain's likable. Like, he's kind of cool. He's intimidating, right? He's a decent villain. And I like him in that sense. And overall, I just think that it's a great time. And I think especially, obviously, the heart of the movie is Lilo and Stitch. Like, because she didn't feel, you know, seen. She felt like she needed, like, a close friend that, like, understood her, of being, like, an outcast, right? Of being somebody that didn't really belong where they were. Nobody really liked her, right? You know, her sister, even though she loved her, right, being her sister, she only, like, tolerated her, and she had problems with her, and she always Lilo kind of felt like her sister kind of felt like she was a burden, or like, maybe the sister didn't feel like that, but I feel like Lilo felt like that's what she felt, if that makes sense. But Stitch is kind of in a similar ballpark, right? He's an outcast for sure, right? Like, he's literally all he's being told is that he's a killing machine, right? He's like a force of destruction. He won't be anything aside from that. He can't make friends, right? He can't have people close to him. He'll just drive them away. He'll just destroy them. It's in his programming. It's in his nature, right? But he fights his programming to find his family, right? And that's him, Lilo, and Stitch kind of complete each other in that sense, where they make each other feel seen, right? And I think that is a very nice, like, all-around premise of the film, and I guess the message of it is family, right? Stick with your family, you know, and stick with the people who care about you, because they'll always be there for you. And, I mean, it's not an overly unique message, but I think it is done very well, and I think it gets it across very nicely, and I think it's just a very sweet movie with a very nice ending. I think overall, I would absolutely recommend this movie if you haven't already seen it. I mean, most people have seen it already, but if you're, like, on the fence about seeing this 24-year-old movie, or if you just want to pay respects to the late Daveigh Chase, I think this is a great film for family, or just for like families, or just for anyone. I think you could just watch this on your own and still have a great time with it. It's a really, really enjoyable film that I would highly, highly, highly recommend. And with that being said, what would I rate this film? You know, I think I would rate this film in 8.5 out of 10. And, yeah, I think that's what I say. Thank you for some peace. So, guys, I hope you liked this video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. And I've been RunTimmyG. Off. to hunt a genetic experiment. But I'll do it better than Jumba and Pleakley, though. Jumba? Was it Jumba? So I didn't know this, but apparently Stitch was actually, a creation of Chris Sanders. It had been a creation in his mind for a long time, at least 20 years before the film ever released in theaters. In 1981, Chris Sanders actually created Stitch as a character in a children's book that got rejected in a pitch. But that character stuck in his head for a long time, and he eventually made Lilo and Stitch, which, I guess it's good that he must have liked Stitch so much that he kept him fresh in his mind for that long, that we got this iconic modern classic from him and Dean DeBlois. DeBlois? DeBlois.